Hi, Kaylee. How you doing? Really good advertising campaign. I think that it's really solid, and the visual consistency and the cohesiveness between piece to piece, I think is very solid. Talk about that in a second. I want to talk about this preliminary work that you've included. I think it's a really good idea to keep all this stuff, save all this stuff, because what I do is I would, when I was interviewing and back when I was just graduated, I put my portfolio together and I'd write a design narrative for each piece, and I'd put all those design narratives in a separate folder. That way I could study my own narratives so I know exactly what typefaces and color choices I'm using and the reasons behind them. That way when I'm asked questions in the interview, they don't seem like a surprise at all. I'm very, very prepared. You see what I'm saying? And that works really well. But what I'm getting at here is that by saving this stuff, you'll keep fresh in your memory exactly what your intent was um, while planning the project, and that can be a really important thing when talking about your work to a prospective employer or a portfolio reviewer. So keep that in mind. So definitely keep those pieces. You don't have to show those in your advertising campaign, though. Just the work. Okay, so the thing I want to mention here, the first thing is that you've got this really wonderful consistency from page to page. I think it was a very, very smart choice to use the visual attributes of the label and mimic those on your actual ad campaign. That was very smart. And it works. So you've got the stark white with the black bow, ties everything together. No pun intended. Black bow ties everything together, right? So there are some inconsistencies though, and mainly I think that what you should do is select a logo treatment. Okay, for example, here you have the logo with the bottle to the left. Here you have the logo with no bottle. Here you have the logo with the ribbon below. And then here you have the logo with the ribbon above and centered. So you see we're having different presentations of the logo on each piece. That's kind of causing a little bit of visual inconsistency. What I would do is I would select one logo, either this one or this one with the wine bottle, and stick with it. And I think lower right hand placement is good throughout the whole advertising campaign. Go ahead and leave your logo right there on every piece, right there. In the magazine ads, right there. Lower right, every piece. You would have to reformat that, but lower right hand. So you've really got this wonderful consistency where the logo is visible in the same spot of the composition on each representative piece of the advertising campaign. The other thing I think is that it's okay that you have different headlines and taglines on each piece because you've got enough visual consistency that's holding the campaign together. So you don't need consistent verbiage to add to that. You're fine with the consistency you have. The thing I am worried about though is that you're using drastically different typefaces on each piece. Okay, you've got this playbill type, ultra bold, all caps here. Then over here you have a sans serif. Then you have a mix of a formal script with a all caps sans serif. And then over here you've got a Roman old style bold, and so on and so on, and then script. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So there's really no consistency in the typographic presentation that falls within the tagline or the subhead of each piece. What I would do is I would select, I like this right here. I like this consistency. I mean, this combination right here of this looks like Edwardian script, this formal script with this, I wouldn't use all caps though. I would just use more like that in conjunction with that formal script. I think that would be a really, really interesting combination to use throughout each piece. Okay. There's a couple of other little things, inconsistencies visually that are happening here. And this is good. This is good. These are really tight. This is really tight. Then all of a sudden we come here and all of a sudden everything has changed. Now we have this kind of marbleized background with the type in a box that is with a screened back opacity. And it's just really a totally different piece. So I would say it's one of those things like, okay, out of this group, what fits, what doesn't? And this one would say, well, this one doesn't, so it's out. See what I'm saying? So that would have to be reformatted. Finally, the last two things I want to talk about are, well, actually, there's three things. This cheers right here seems to me to be more like a salute that you would throwing up a couple of beer steins in a pub. Cheers. It's, when you say cheers, it just seems like there should be beer suds splashing. Wine is more like salute or, you know, even a toast or something like that. It's usually a little more formal when you're tipping wine glasses than cheers, which is very casual salute. Okay. What was the other thing? Oh, your banners, So you've got your banners. I would suggest that as long as you're using banners, you should consider animating your type into the banner. Simple animation, fade in, fade out, something just with the call to action. I think it's a really interesting way. Plus, it'll show your potential employer, the person who's looking at this portfolio, that you know how to create a media banner, which is important. Again, to keep this stuff really super important, but you don't have to use it in your presentation. All right, let me see. That's that. Oh, finally, the last thing is this I wanted to mention is that you've got two magazine ads. You got two billboards, two magazine ads, and two banners. Why don't you mix that up a little bit? I mean, why don't you throw like a direct mail in there? I think a direct mail or a point of purchase, maybe an in-store poster or something, that would be a really, really interesting way to go here. I really think so. Definitely maybe a mailer. But my point is that you a little more consistency here. You've got two banners, you got two of everything. Why not mix it up a little bit? Throw maybe a website in there, some other non-traditional advertising media method. Outdoor. Well, you got your billboards. Direct mail, point of purchase, something like that. Think about it. Other than that, I think you're doing a great job. And if you have any questions, comments, or other, please feel free to give me a holler. Thanks, Kaylee. Good job.